Bari Weiss. Now, if you remember her from this show, my most popular video, it got like over 5 million views, was when she went on and slandered Tulsi Gabbard because Tulsi Gabbard was telling the truth about the Syrian war. And anybody who told the truth about the Syrian war got slandered. Now, see, they go to my Wikipedia page. Look what they still have up there. They still push the conspiracy theory that Assad gassed his own people, which is what that was. And I debunked it, and they called me a conspiracy theorist. Who do they quote at Wikipedia? They quote CNN, calling Jimmy Dore a conspiracy theorist because I got Syria right. And we all know that Wikipedia is run by the intelligence community, MI6 and the CIA and the FBI. Certainly when it comes to personal profiles, the gray zone has proven this. This is not me making it up. So Bari Weiss slandered Tulsi Gabbard, called her a Assad toady. That's what they do. Just like they're calling people Putin puppets. So you're Assad. So whatever country the United States wants to go to war with, if you tell the truth about it, they say you're a puppet of that person running that country. You're Saddam, you're a Gaddafi, whatever, no matter what it is. So here she is. She says, and this piece doesn't even touch on her truly batch. So this is a piece called The Hateful Candace Owens. So she's glad. So Bari Weiss is a Zionist. And she's totally down with what Israel's doing, the genocide. And she totally just, again, I know there are a lot of people who thought she was a free speech person and all that. She's not. She's for free speech when it suits her. She's a part-time free speecher. So she says, this piece doesn't even touch on her truly batshit views about Brigitte Macron. That it took the Daily Wire this long to sever ties with Candace Owens is alarming. So, first of all, Candace Owens' claims about Brigitte Macron was based on a 3-year in-depth investigation by a team of French journalists. However crazy it is, she didn't come up with it out of thin air. So, here's another. So you don't think it's weird that a 40-something-year-old teacher groomed and then married her student starting at age 15? Because Macron, the president of France, is 40. His wife is 70. And she was his teacher when he was 15. Flip that. Flip that to being a girl student and a male, 40-year-old male. Just flip that.
It is very French, though.
Yeah. Switch the genders and see how that goes. Nothing to report on that one. And anyone who does report on it should be deplatformed. So, by the way, Bari Weiss she's like if there's this league of superheroes that wait in some coffee room for instructions to attack someone or something that they know nothing about. That's what this is. Yeah,
she didn't know anything about Tulsi, right? That was the big clip that went viral.
She didn't know
anything. Tulsi's vile, right? That was the word I think she used.
She's disgusting. What was the word? She called her an Assad toady, and then Rogan said,
"What was vile?" I think that was the word that sticks out in my head for some reason. Then Rogan asked, "What about her's vile?" And she had nothing.
He asked, "What is a toady?" He said, "She's a Assad toady," and he said, "What is a toady? What does that word mean?"
And she couldn't say.
And she didn't know what it was. Yeah. She goes, "Can you look it up? I don't know what it means." But she called her that.
Yeah.
So any criticism of pedo politics is batshit. That's what Bari's saying. So here's one more. So by the way, underneath her tweet, I couldn't find any positive tweets under Bari's tweet about calling Candace batshit. Here's our Nick, friend of the show, says, people really thought a Zionist believed in freedom of speech? And Jake Shields, friend of the show, says, we all know you want her fired because she's realizing Israel is a terrorist state, which they are, just like the United States is. Here's one more. Candace disagrees with murdering Palestinian babies and starving them to death. You're fully in favor of that. So who is really hateful here? Glenn Greenwald caught this. So Bari Weiss wrote years ago, she wrote an essay called "We Got Here Because of Cowardice. We Get Out with Courage." So Glenn says this essay in commentary by Bari Weiss, from which that excerpt is taken, say no to the woke revolution, is below. It warns of the evils of firing people by accusing them of bigotry and of the moral urgency of debating, not deplatforming opponents. So Bari Weiss and Ben Shapiro and all those people, they all used to say that's what they used to say. You don't deplatform people because you don't agree with them. You need to debate them. And you don't call them bigots. The left just calls everybody a bigot or a racist. Well, now they're doing that exactly to Candace Owens and anybody who doesn't go along with the genocide that Israel's pulling off in Gaza. So just think about this. We have people like AOC has finally called it a genocide. And Alex Jones is also calling it a genocide. So I'm pretty sure there's a genocide happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So when they're on the same page, that's pretty much the mainstream opinion at that point.
Yeah. So here's what Glenn caught. He says, let me offer this is what Bari Weiss had written back in November of 2021. Let me offer the briefest overview of the core beliefs of the woke revolution, which are abundantly clear to anyone willing to look past the hashtags and the jargon. It begins by stipulating that the forces of justice and progress are in a war against backwardness and tyranny. And in a war, the normal rules of the game must be suspended. Indeed, this ideology would argue that those rules are not just obstacles to justice, but tools of oppression. They are the master's tools, and the master's tools cannot dismantle the master's house. So the tools themselves are not just replaced, but repudiated. And in so doing, persuasion, the purpose of argument, is replaced with public shaming. Moral complexity is replaced with moral certainty. Facts are replaced with feelings. That's exactly what Ben Shapiro, The Daily Wire, Dave Rubin, and Bari Weiss are doing to Candace Owens. It goes on. Ideas are replaced with identity. That's exactly what this is. I once had a conversation with Dave Rubin about that when they were doing one of their mowing the lawns, as Israel calls it, and they were bombing schools and UN sanctuaries, and they were trying to beg Israel, don't bomb this. There's children in here, and they did it anyway. And Dave Rubin was for that. And I remember, I go, Dave, you can't really be for that. He goes, well, it's tribal, Jimmy. And of course, I'm going to go along with my tribe. That's a quote from him.
Wow.
So this is, ideas are replaced with identity. Forgiveness is replaced. So that's what they're doing. They're replacing ideas with their identity as Zionists. And they conflate it with being Jewish. Now, there's lots of Jews that are not Zionists. But they want you to think that Zionism equals Jewish. And it doesn't. So you can be anti-Zionist, and that doesn't make you an anti-Semitic. That's a semantic trick that they're trying to. I'm anti-semantic. Ideas are replaced with identity. This is exactly what they're doing. So again, these people don't really have values. Like I've showed you that Ben Shapiro doesn't have those values. Ideas are replaced with identity. Forgiveness is replaced with punishment. Debate is replaced with deplatforming. Diversity is replaced with homogeneity of thought. That's exactly what they're doing at the Daily Wire. That's exactly what Bari Weiss is doing. That's exactly what Ben Shapiro's doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
And they cry foul when the argument is turned on them, because what's really been exposed about these people over these past several months is that these Zionists really are racists. They are absolute racists. If you believe that the state of Israel is a legitimate project, you must believe that a bunch of brown Arabs in the Middle East should have been made to pay for the crimes of the Nazis. That in itself is profoundly racist right there. And now that we're having a debate about this, and that people who are pushing back on their patently racist premise that undergirds the existence of Israel as a state, they want to shut that debate down because they consider it illegitimate and out of bounds. Why? because it's being argued on behalf of a people who they quite obviously see as less than human. So these are die-in-the-wool fucking bigots, and they are full of garbage and all this bullshit about free speech and open debate and discourse and dialogue and the Bari Weisses and the Douglas Murrays and the Dave Rubins and the Ben Shapiros. They are just full of shit. And as the consensus broadens to include people like Alex Jones on one hand and AOC on the other, that this is an unfolding genocide, these people are going to end up outcasts, as they should.
We'll see. Candace hasn't been deplatformed or silenced, nor was there even an attempt to do so. That's what this person says to Glenn Greenwald. And Glenn Greenwald comes back and says she's been deplatformed by the Daily Wire and is no longer at her job due to her views that have been morally and publicly shamed as racist. Exactly what Bari's essay warns about. So now they became the thing they claim to hate. Of course they are. Just like the people who are prosecuting Trump politically for political prosecution, they said Trump was going to do that. And now they got to do it to him before he gets reelected, so he can't do it to them. So they're going to do it first. That's what's happening right now. That's what this is. This is, I can't, so apparently it's not lying when a certain group does it, when Zionists do it. It's not racism when a certain group does it. It's not theft when a certain group does it. It's not child abuse when a certain group does it. It's not genocide when a certain group does it. But most important, it's not hypocrisy when it's pointed out that this certain group does all those things.
Exactly.
I am anti-semantic when it comes to bullshit. I'll tell you that. I don't hate religion. I hate lies, and every religion uses them for cover. Some more than others rise and fall from using it, but all of them fall from using bullshit. We eventually see through it. That's stunning that she wrote that. You can't get bigger phonies. That's what these people are. Phonies. And cretins who are for genocide. I don't get it. And it's, Netanyahu says he doesn't care if the whole world turns against Israel. The whole world has turned against Israel. The whole world.
Yep.
I mean, over a month ago, a Jewish think tank did a study of all the protests around the world over Israel, Gaza, and they found out 95% of the protests were pro-Palestinian. That's a Jewish think tank. The whole world has turned on them. And now you have Joe Biden and the Democrats. So now AOC, they're all coming out now. Oh, they're really, because they know they're going to lose the election.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose the election because of this. And there's no silver lining because Donald Trump has already said he's going to go along with Benjamin Netanyahu. So Benjamin Netanyahu is never going to stop doing what he's doing because he knows he doesn't care. So now Joe Biden has no leverage.
Exactly, because he's a loser. It doesn't matter what he says.
That's right.
Netanyahu knows he only has to wait, 10 months until he'll have his way again. Even if Biden does take a stand, which is unlikely.
Right.
Even if that does happen, Netanyahu knows that Joe Biden's days in the White House are numbered because they took too long to mobilize at all around this, and they really haven't mobilized. They voted they voted present at the latest UN resolution, which calls for a ceasefire. They insisted, meaning the U.S. insisted, that be a temporary ceasefire, not a permanent ceasefire. So they're still not really doing anything. They're making these rhetorical gestures because they know the bottom is falling out of their party. But as you said, it's too late. Netanyahu knows he holds all the cards now because all he has to do, worst case, is wait for Donald Trump to win.
Wow. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But, Donald Trump is a wild card. So you don't know. Yeah. You don't know if he gets elected and tells Netanyahu, hey, asshole, looks bad. He's already said it, by the way. He's already said this.
And that is the caveat to this. You're right. Is that if world opinion turns against them as dramatically as it looks like it is, there is that chance that he just goes along with that, because what Trump wants more than anything is to be liked, right? And so if this is a loser position, he might not back Israel. I mean, it's hard to imagine, right? Like, it's hard to even imagine that could happen, but it could. It's not something to bet on, but you're right. He is a wild card. There is that randomness factor when it comes to Trump. But at the moment, yeah, Netanyahu holds all the cards over Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is, for all intents and purposes, a lame duck. And you can't negotiate with Netanyahu when you're a lame duck. You have no political power.
None.
Joe Biden has no political power now.
None. Hey, come see us do a live stand-up show. We're going to be in Stockholm, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, London, Oslo, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Edmonton, Alberta, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Denver, Colorado. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.